wanted to shed some light on a scenario that a lot of these young folks in this AMC GME scenario don't understand and they don't get, and it's why they said Lou was crazy and didn't know what he was talking about, considering the fact he's been on this earth like twice as long as you and he's experienced things most of these kids have only seen in movies or have heard about somewhere. And that is the world of illegalities, the criminal world. Shit that none of these guys know about, so they can't comprehend it. They've only seen it on TV and in movies. Well, why would they be trading it so expensively in the dark pools and off exchange? Why wouldn't they just come on exchange and buy it cheap like that? If you were going to rob a bank, would you walk in the front door and just start individually taking money from everybody right there and then walk up to the teller and ask for the money there and then walk out? No. Smart people literally rob places without anyone ever even knowing until well after the fact. If they were to buy the amount of shares that they need to buy to cover on exchange, it would completely expose all the illegal shit they've been doing. Completely expose it. And you would get to benefit. Not only with them starting to return shares by buying them there on the normal exchange, significantly raise the price anyway from what they're doing, it would also trigger more FOMO buying. It would start raising this price up in a way that they can't control the other smaller people that are still just kind of sitting around, hanging out, seeing what the big boys are doing. They'd get in a position to where they would have to fucking, buy in. And by the time we get to the point to where we realize there's no more shares, they're all bought up, these guys still have to find more shares. That's when you run into your scenario where everyone's like, well, I'm not selling till 100,000 or whatever. If the price is at 5,000 right now, I could realistically, with what I personally believe that they have shorted, like naked shorted, I could easily see the price over 10 grand, no problem, easily. And why risk having to pay 10 grand or more for your shares when you can just steal retail's orders and their shit, route it off exchange, you exchange it back and forth where no one can see, very illegally, where no one can even see it. Even if it's for thousands of dollars, you're trading back and forth with your fucking criminal buddies, making a killing, taking money from other places that you shouldn't be allowed to do, and buying these shares at expensive prices and selling them at expensive prices. But technically cheaper than what you would have to if you bought them all on exchange and allowed a bunch of other variables that you can't control to come into this equation. They have full control over what they're doing there. Full control. And no one can see it. No one knows what they're doing. It's the criminal side of it. For them, they're making a killing doing what they're doing. God only knows if, they're actually able to siphon through what may be synthetic, what may be real, if there's some point that's behind what they're doing, part of it. But in the long run, it's genius. It completely takes any unknown variables out of the game, and you can't even see it. You can't see it. You don't know what they're doing. You have no idea. You can't see their prices. You don't know. It's just funny to me that you guys are over here screaming. And these guys, oh yeah, this is going to go up to this price. This is going to go up to this price. But you're like 2 months ago, you were hell bent and certain that you could get $100,000 for one share. And it strikes you as odd that they're trading shit back and forth for possibly 5 grand when you not too long ago were thinking you were going to get to hold them hostage for $100,000. Really? Hmm. Yeah. If they did that shit on lit exchanges, they risk having to pay a lot more, a whole lot more. There is definitely a different price. 100%. There's no way there can't be because we're missing like 70 fucking percent of our orders for a long period of time. They're not on the lit exchange. That price action is known off exchange. What that worth is and that value is known where it's sitting, where it would be on a lit exchange. And they have to trade at that price. That's what they have to do. The dark pool wouldn't make sense if they could just take these orders, and the whole purpose of it is to not explode the lit market. Like if you want to buy 10 million shares of something, that's going to significantly impact the market price. Or sell, it's going to significantly impact it, obviously, because you've seen it. They've been doing it in other ways. But yeah, that's it. This is the criminal side of this shit that you all don't understand. You don't get. You just don't get it. And it's understandable, but what they're doing makes perfect sense. They control their destiny right now. They are doing so much illegal shit right now that's making them so much money. And I don't know what all happens in dark pools. No one really knows. No one knows what. There's no transparency, so you have no real clue as to what they're doing. But if I was in a scenario where I had shorted over the entire float of a stock and knowing what the price would go up to had I returned all those shares on the lit market, because they know what it would be at, and it would definitely be over $5,000 or whatever people are speculating they're trading at. I'd be back and forth all day, fucking making sales, whatever, giving me more leverage, giving me more capital, giving me more time. They know what they're doing, and that's my whole thing. Is I'm not necessarily concerned with the SEC. I don't want them stepping in and like halting everything. Nobody needs that. We already know they're doing illegal shit. I want the dark pool shit stopped. They can stop that. That shit they can stop. They can halt the dark pool bullshit that they're doing, taking our orders and routing them there. It's fucking illegal. It is illegal. Dark pools are not made for retail orders. They're not. Our money is being stolen to use for their nefarious bullshit, for what they're supposed to do with their real shares, their real money, their own bullshit they're supposed to use dark pools for. But that's again, and it's impossible for people to accept or understand shit that they just can't. Lou spent time in a criminal, era of his life. I've been around that shit too. Nowhere near, like I said, nowhere near the extent Lou has, I'm sure, but I've been around enough. I've seen nefarious shit. I've witnessed police officers, like set people up. I've had them lie and set me up and tell me if I didn't cooperate with what they were saying, they were going to make shit super difficult on me because they did some very illegal shit. And I'm a very intelligent young man at this time, and I knew what they did was illegal, and I straight up told them, fuck you, go ahead, take me to jail. I can't wait to see you bitches in court. I know everything that you just did is illegal. Everything. And I'm telling them everything. And I was young, I was stupid, I should have shut my fucking mouth. I should have shut up. Waited till I got a lawyer and got to court and all that shit and been like, yeah, guess what these motherfuckers did? But I didn't, I was like, yeah, I got you. Nuh-uh. They're more organized than me, bigger than me, older than me, smarter than me. They did. They put me in a situation where I had to cooperate with them. If I didn't, they'd have fucked my shit up. And when you don't think about what's possible from a criminal standpoint, you're never going to be able to understand the depths of what's going on here. If you think this is all hunky-dory and fair, and they wouldn't do that, that's just dumb. They'd come where we're at and they'd buy here. It's legal, it's sunshiny, that's what, duh. No, you dumbass. Illegal shit happens where you can't see it. happens at nighttime, happens in the dark, happens in back rooms, places away from ears and eyes that don't need to see or hear what's going on. And then it leaves ignorant fools to be sitting around thinking they know what's going on. They know how this would work, how this should work. It's just funny watching all these guys that, I've been saying this is what they're doing, this is what they would be doing, this is what they will do. Um, Lou said it enough, and all these guys are like, yeah, that's not what's going on. They're not doing that. They wouldn't do that. And here we are, like 6 weeks later. So it turns out that they are routing orders to a dark pool, and most likely selling on an exchange. Turns out they're like returning some shares to AMC, but then naked shorting ETFs and things like that. And there's the ADF and all this stuff that people were talking about that we said you're dumb. But we're not dumb. We just didn't know. No, you just didn't believe people smarter than you and who understand an aspect and dynamic that you don't. It's okay to not know everything, guys. I'm telling you, younger guys, that especially live streamers, it is very okay to not know everything. And the biggest thing you can say that turns people off all the time is, I know. Like when people are saying something or telling you something that they definitely know that you don't know, and your response is always like, I know. Oh, I know. No, you fucking don't, which is why I'm having this conversation with you and I'm having to explain this to you, because you don't fucking know. So some of you are at an age now in your mid-20s where you need to learn to shut the fuck up. Like, I'm telling you, this is good advice. You need to learn to shut the fuck up now and start listening more, because you don't know shit. And especially when someone with years on you is trying to talk to you, speak to you about shit that they know. And some of us older guys, there's things that we know. We just know because we know, because we've seen it before. We've seen the patterns. We know how these things work. And just because we don't have specific evidence to give you right now doesn't mean that we don't fucking know what's going on, because we've seen it before. We've watched this movie. We know. So all this shit is just a matter of time at this point. I'm on board with Lou with this. Like, I've never called myself an ape. You don't see me putting ape in any of my shit. I'm not an idiot. I'm not stupid. I'm not an ape. I'm an individual retail investor who saw a great opportunity, and I'm trying to, do the best I can to capitalize on it. I'm not a fucking smooth brain, don't know shit. I constantly educate myself, especially with my money. Always. I'm not part of any ape thing. Y'all motherfuckers are gonna end up losing, like your brokerages and shit are gonna get froze because you're running around saying that you're an ape and blah 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 and all this shit. And there's a couple of these guys that I'm sure are gonna end up being investigated by the SEC if they're not already. And there's a lot of their shit that, even if they didn't say they were financial advisors and giving you advice, things they did could easily be argued against them. Even if it's not. Even if they don't lose court cases because it technically wasn't illegal, they could lose a shitload of money being tied up in litigation by people who claim I did what they were doing. Like, they showed me what they were doing, and I was just doing what they were doing. Either way, at the end of the day, they told you they're not financial advisors. Do not do what they're doing. Be responsible for your own shit. But still, that doesn't mean you don't have a case. It doesn't mean that a lawyer will not do their best to suck money out of you, even if you don't win the case, and that these other fuckers won't take that opportunity to suck a bunch of money out of these guys, regardless of the outcome. So this is a point where you guys need to figure out who you are. I think this ape thing is done. It needs to be done. If we're coming together as anything, it is as a new player in the stock market. We're a large section of the stock market now. We're a big chunk of the pie. We're individual retail investors. It's what we are. It's your job to educate yourself every day. Learn as much as you can about investing, and become the best you can be to make the most of your time in the market. And if it becomes a permanent thing, my God, you should be learning every waking moment. You're looking at the stock market. Your money's in there. You should be learning how to maximize its gains constantly. Not looking at people that are gorilla ape leaders and you're just a simple little monkey orangutan following behind and I don't know what I do when moon. No. At this point, there needs to be a distinct separation from that shit. Because I promise you, these guys with big money, Citadel and all them, oh, they already have lawyers already working on a case to be like, Gary, fuck them. Fuck them. Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. This was no more orchestrated than what we do, but we're professionals. We know what we're doing. They're just a bunch of people that hated us and hated hedge funds, and they just wanted to screw things up, and they did. Look what happened. Because you guys didn't regulate them. It'll be turned, it'll be flipped, it'll be twisted. When that day comes, I'm going to be prepared as an individual retail investor. And I'll be like, you ain't going to group me in with none of them motherfuckers, because here's my shit. Here's my paperwork. Here's my brain on paper. Fuck you. I read these laws too. I read these filings too. I know what all this shit means. No, better go talk to them. Go talk to the ones throwing banana peels and shit at cars. Because that ain't me. I'm here for the individual retail investor. Try to educate them, learn with them, grow with them, because we are now a significant